Laura Ingraham, I believe. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
Back now with more of my exclusive sit-down with President Trump. He reacted to all the attacks on the ballroom construction. I also asked him a very important question about his faith. Michelle Obama.
I'm sorry, but the Dems losing it about the ballroom is probably the funniest thing I've seen this year that they've done. I mean, they've done a lot of ridiculous things, but losing their mind over a ballroom is absolutely hilarious. It didn't try to say it's the taxpayer money while not knowing that it's literally being it's literally being funded by donations by big corporations. So yeah, I mean, you guys should be happy about that.
Had something to say about the ballroom and the new ballroom. During an event to promote her new book, she said, "When we talk about the East Wing, it's the heart of the work. And to denigrate it, to tear it down, to pretend like it doesn't matter, it's a reflection of how you think of that role." Why is she wrong?
Well, first of all, the East Wing was a beautiful little tiny structure that was built many years ago that was renovated and expanded and disbanded and columns ripped out. And it had nothing to do with the original building. It was a poor, sad sight. And I could have built the ballroom around it, but it would not have been. We're building one of the greatest ballrooms in the world. By the way, zero money spent by the government, zero. The East Wing is being spent by private donors.
Oh, guys, do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people in our conversation by double tapping that screen. Appreciate the support. We got about 700 of y'all in here.
And it's a $250, $300 million building. It's going to be the most beautiful anywhere in the world. It'll be a large, beautiful, you know, they had an event the other day. They could hold, with tables, they could hold 79 people. Now, if you have President Xi from China, or if you have some big state event, we have no place to have it. You
Not
know
just
what they
regular
did?
people.
They put,
just regular people invite in.
Obama wouldn't mind this. Mrs. Obama obviously wouldn't mind.
Hey, yo, and shout out to Cache My Memory for the 100 jewels. Appreciate the support, my man.
They would put a tent on the lawn. It was a low section because that's the only section you have. So it was a low section. If it rained, you were sitting in 6 inches of water. It was a disaster.
I mean, literally, like, come on now. We have world leaders out there in grass. Like, they got designer shoes on and they're stepping in grass at the White House is unacceptable. It needs to be a little bit more, I don't know, bourgeois than that. It needs to have a little bit more prestige than that of world leaders stepping out on the grass in the mud. So why not, have a nice little ballroom? As my man Jet says, man, leave the big, beautiful ballroom alone, you babies. Like, come on.
Whining. Your kids are soft.
Be so soft.
We're going to have the best ballroom anywhere in the world. And I built a lot of them. You know that. You know a lot of them. This will be one of the greatest ballrooms in the world.
There was a report that Melania didn't love this idea. Is that true?
She loved her little tiny office. But you know what? She's very smart. In about one day, if you would ask her now, she says it's great. But just so you understand, the East Wing sounds good, right? It sounds good. But the East Wing, that building was renovated 20 times. Including adding a floor to the top, which was terrible. It was out of common brick, little tiny windows. It looked like hell. It had nothing to do with the original building. And I didn't want to sacrifice a great ballroom for an okay ballroom by leaving it right smack in the middle.
In October, you were asked about ending wars, and you talked about that. And you said, I don't think there's anything that's going to get me into heaven. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. A lot of Christians were sort of sad to hear that because Christ came to forgive our sins, if you believe that as Christians, and they open heaven to all of us. So don't you believe that?
So the other day, the New York Times did a story and took that statement totally literally. When I made that statement, I was being funny, sarcastic. You know, it's bad for a politician to be sarcastic. I said, I'm never going to make it to heaven. A big audience. I don't think I can make it. I don't think I qualify, etc. I was kidding. I was having fun. I don't know if I will or not. I don't know. But the Times did a story, a little guy named Peter Baker, who is the sycophant to Obama. You know, he wrote the Obama book, like Obama was a good president. He was one of the worst. Biden was the worst. Obama was top 3 or 4. But think of this. I make this statement, and the Times has a front page, Donald Trump is now questioning his life and his this and his that. I said to a group of people, a large group, I said, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I'm not so sure, but I'm going to fight to me, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I was having fun, and they made it like serious. The thing I thought I learned, but I forgot about it, I guess, when I made this little, is you can't be sarcastic as a politician or have fun. But
Yes, you
I
can.
don't regret it. I don't regret it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Honestly, I thought he was just, in my honest opinion, I thought he was saying that just maybe, the fact that people are dying is maybe weighing a bit heavy on him. And he's wondering, like, I'm doing this for the good of my country, but I mean, damn, I'm still catching bodies at the end of the day. But, that was just what I got from it. But hey, Trump said he was joking. He was just having a moment of, comedy. And that was it. Like, don't read too much into it. All right, guys, let's get into the next little part of this.
Gavin Newsom had a message, sir, for his fellow Democrats after this shutdown deal.
Sounds like some of my colleagues and friends in the United States Senate, some of my Democratic colleagues just decided that we're playing by the old set of rules, not the new set of rules, and may have rolled over a little bit. Right now, we've got to hold the line because I think America will become unrecognizable in a year or two unless we fight back.
He wants to fight harder, and he thinks the Democrats aren't fighting hard enough against you and, of course, the Republicans, Gavin Newsom.
I mean, I knew Gavin for 4 years. I got along great with him.
Oh, and shout out to my man Chase for sending in the 1,000 jewels with the GOAT trophy, man. I really appreciate that. Shout out to Big Dog Chase. Let me go ahead and give you the shout out on that note. But whoops, a daisy.
But he's gone radical left, and he's building a train system from San Francisco.
No. Gavin Newsom is building up his presidential campaign. He says he's not going to run, but trust me, Gavin Newsom is going to run. He actually might just be the best candidate. Well, I would say he's the most popular candidate, not the best candidate, as far as policies, but the most popular.
Republicans, Gavin Newsom.
I mean, I knew Gavin for 4 years. I got along great with him. But he's gone radical left, and he's building a train system from San Francisco to L.A. that's got about a 2,000 or 3,000% cost overrun. It's the worst thing I've never seen anything like it. I've seen cost overruns. I've never seen anything like that. If you take a look at what he's done, so they lost 25,000 houses. Do you know they haven't issued one building permit yet? So these people are trying to rebuild their houses. Malibu. But he did something. He did something even worse than that. He's now taking a big section of Palisades or some area, and he's going to build low-income housing where they used to have luxury housing. He's going to put low-income housing in. His fire stuff is out of control. The forests are burning down all over the place. And honestly, I always liked him, but he's a horrible governor. He's a horrible governor.
Yeah, that has been the current criticism coming out of California. Is like, you guys haven't even started rebuilding. Actually, you're kind of blocking rebuilding. You're kind of holding it up. So, like, what's up with that? I thought you guys would be pretty quick to get to rebuilding these houses, but you're not. Actually, you're trying to bring in more low-income housing for who? What, the illegals that you guys went in? Because that's what it sounds like.
If he ran the country like that, we would have an absolutely gonzo country. This country would be gone. The fact is, if I weren't president, if Kamala got in, you wouldn't have, not only wouldn't you have $20 trillion coming in, you would have money leaving, and your welfare system. Take a look at some of the welfare things that we're talking about. They've doubled, tripled, and quadrupled since I left office.
SNAP benefits have
well, SNAP has gone from like $7 billion to many times $7 billion. And, like people keep talking about SNAP. But SNAP is supposed to be, if you're down and out, you really, really have. That's what the purpose of it. People are getting, they walk in and they get it automatically now. So the number is many times what it should be. It's disgraceful.
Can we change
You wouldn't
that?
have been able, I'll tell you what, this country would have been busted, 100% busted within 5 months into a new administration if I didn't win.
Can we reform SNAP
Yeah,
and
I
these
think we
benefits
can
so they're
reform it.
used
I
for the
think I
people who
should.
really need them?
It's meant for people. And you know what it does is it really puts the country at jeopardy. People that need it have to get it. I'm all for it. But people that are able-bodied can do a job. They leave their job because they figure they can pick this up. It's easier. That's not the purpose of it.
So knives are out, it looks like, for Chuck Schumer. Ro Khanna is already calling for him to be replaced. What message do you have for Schumer tonight?
Well, I think he made a mistake in going too far.
And shout out to my man Hellbat. He's like, I'm sitting here wondering why sanctuary cities are still a thing. Aiding and abetting is illegal. Yes, it is. But you know how the Dems are. Stop saying illegal immigrant. They're actually undocumented. Being an illegal immigrant is not a crime, even though it's in the name. You know how the Dems are playing it. They're kind of playing word games with us. Like they don't know that it's illegal to be an undocumented immigrant, but it is what it is.
He
Going too far or how?
Well, he just went too far. He thought he could break the Republicans, and the Republicans broke him.
Shout out Hellbat.
But he did think that we have good policy, they have bad policy. And there's something, I don't know if it's Trump derangement or are they just crazed. They're like crazed lunatics. But, we have just great policy. We have good people.
And shout out to my man Hellbat. He's like, how you been, bro? It's been years since I last saw you. I mean, yeah, man, bro, Vlad, I haven't seen you since bro. Where you been? Even though I seen you maybe last month.
Well, they have some good people too. I know a lot of Democrats. They're not all crazy. They're not all, but you have some that are absolutely terrible. I look at this Crockett. This is a very low IQ person. And I look at somebody that comes from Somalia, where they don't have anything. They don't have police. They don't have military. They don't have anything. All they have is crime. And she comes in and tells us how to run our country.
I'll be honest with you. Jasmine Crockett, I mean, let's be real. She don't really know what she's talking about. But, I mean, she got a mouth on her. She got that fighting spirit that I guess the Democrats love. And Ilhan Omar, man, that woman just needs to shut the heck up, bro. Just shut up. It's like people, like, it's always going to be irritating that when people come over here, leave their country because there's less opportunity in their country than they have here. Because, and it's crazy. Like, if Somalia is so great, then go over there. If America's so dirty and it's all this bad stuff, then go over there. But do not come over here and talk shit about the country that you have the most opportunity in. You have the most freedom as a woman in the world. Please, as a foreigner, as a woman, I would hope that none of y'all would talk ish about the United States, seeing that this is like the freest place to be a woman in. Like, this is as good as it gets for women. Like, to be quite honest.
The Constitution says this.
They're complaining about this.
The whole thing is crazy.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that.
I feel badly because I've known Chuck Schumer. I knew him when he was a person who loved Israel, and now he's a Palestinian. He's become a Palestinian, and it's amazing. I've never seen a politician change so much. Also, he doesn't have, he was a pretty talented guy. He's lost his talent.
Chicago Mayor, your dear friend Brandon Johnson, is calling on the United Nations.
No, I don't think. Schumer, he's always had a pretty good hold, but it sounds like he's actually lost out to the radical party, the radical left. He lost out to the Jasmine Crockett's and the AOCs and the Mandanis. They're losing their party. They're losing their image, and it's been shown with Schumer. And here's the thing. I mean, look, think about this whole shutdown. The only people that was championing this was the guys on the radical left. The sensible Dems were like, bro, we need to get up out of this. They're hurting our constituents. But the radical left, they didn't really give a damn. They're like, hey, we're in it to fight Trump. Like, we don't care. So, yeah, Schumer did lose out to the more radical side of his party. And it's crazy how he didn't try to, like, I don't know, at least try to fight and gain ground. But then, I mean, he would have to align with people like Fetterman and all that good stuff, who actually wants to sit down and talk to Republicans and not pretend to. And shout out to my man Vlastine. He says, Nam was insane times through thick and thin. Hoorah. Shout out Vlad.
To investigate what he calls the abusive immigration crackdowns in the city by your ICE officers and so forth. The UN in Chicago, what is your message to him?
Well, look, number one, he's got a 4% approval rating. You have people in Chicago, beautiful black women wearing a MAGA hat, red MAGA hat. Please come, Mr. Trump, President. They call me President. They call me Mr. They can call me whatever they want. Please come, President Trump. Please come to. They're begging us to come.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox.
I mean, ain't that the truth? But all right, though, let's get over to the grilling of the Dems, by Sean Hannity. So it really stings because I know they really hate this guy. And then we'll get over onto the left side of media because even the Dems are saying that, or the left wing side of media is saying that, yes, the Dems have folded. They folded to the Republicans and they didn't get a damn thing. So let's get into that.
Public humiliation inside the Democratic.
Oh, guys, let's not forget to double tap that screen and like the video, guys. Let's get more people in the conversation by double tapping that screen and liking the video.
Party. It's never been this bad. After 40 days, 40 nights of nothing but political grandstanding, a handful of Democrats finally agreeing to end their own party's filibuster, thankfully clearing the way for an end to the longest government shutdown in history. Now, we will check in with Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman. He will join us. Lindsey Graham will join us. Again, we're still awaiting final passage. Our good friend Stephen A. Smith has a very important message for his fellow Democrats about this shutdown, and he does blame them. And what do Democrats have to show for all of this? There is now an all-out political civil war that has broken out within their ranks, which we will get to in detail. But we do begin with the single most pointless shutdown in American history. Democrats closed your government for nearly 6 weeks. Federal workers went without pay. And look at your screen. Food assistance programs went dry. In fact, 42 million Americans went without SNAP assistance. Meanwhile, you see what's happening at our nation's airports. The FAA forced to cut back flights all over the country. As a result, there were more than 10,000 flight delays in the past 24 hours alone. But that's not all. More than 5,300 flights have been canceled. This is very real pain felt by Americans far and wide, coast to coast, the longest shutdown, as I said, in history. Take a look.
40 days.
I don't really care what your political persuasion is, but you should really call your senator. Because I'll tell you, this is costing the airlines millions of dollars.
Wow.
And just think of 30 airplanes with one engine running. And it's going to take us at least 90 minutes to take off.
Damn.
So it's frustrating. It's really frustrating for me.
Oh, they must have been a really good
90 minutes. Dog, that mean I could have been late to my flight, bro. That's what I'd have said. I've been like, God damn it, I could have been late and still made it. It took y'all 90 minutes to take off. Like, oh man, yeah. Well, I'm glad it's starting to end. You know, if Congress comes through and, end the shutdown, then we're in good standing. But if not, then, well, we'll be right back where we started. But shout out to Hellbat. He's like, I noticed a lack of a certain Aussie accent. Man, wait, who, me?
reason for Democrats shutting down the government, right? Your government, and causing so much pain, right? After all, Chuck Schumer has been against government shutdown since forever. His entire career, he was against them. Here's a reminder.
What if I persuaded my caucus to say I'm going to shut the government down? I'm going to not pay our bills unless I get my way. It's a politics of idiocy, of confrontation, of paralysis. It's sort of like this. Someone goes into your house, takes your wife and children hostage, and then says, let's negotiate over the price of your house. You know, we could do the same thing on immigration. We believe strongly in immigration reform. We could say we're shutting down the government. We're not going to raise the debt ceiling until you pass immigration reform. It would be governmental chaos. Speaker McCarthy needs to stop letting the MAGA radicals drive his decisions and do the obvious and sensible thing. Follow the Senate's lead and pass a bipartisan CR to prevent this reckless shutdown. We do not want to let a Trump temper tantrum govern our policies or cause the shutdown of a government which everyone on both sides of the aisles knows is the wrong idea.
Wow, times have
Agreed.
changed. Now, this is what
I mean, here's the thing. I agreed with Schumer even when even when the Republicans shut the government down. I'm like, well, damn, this isn't the way to do it. I mean, because you guys want something, you guys can negotiate. You don't got to shut the government down and damn near hold the people hostage. Now that the shoe's on the other foot and Democrats doing it, they want to sit here and try to point blame at the Republicans while they vote no on the CR, which is basically voting no to benefits, no to military pay, no to federal worker pay. But hey, it's the Republicans' fault, right? Even though we're the ones voting no on it. Crazy work right there. Crazy work.
Schumer sounds like when asked about working with President Trump to reopen the government. Take a look.
So now we're in a government shutdown. And you may be asking yourself, how the hell did we get here? Donald Trump and the Republican Party are hell-bent on taking health care away from 60 million people, closing community clinics, rural hospitals, nursing homes, all so they can keep giving tax breaks to their billionaire friends. It's a disgrace. So Democrats have 3 words for this. No way. It's literally life or death. We will not let Republicans blow up our health care system.
So just what are the extraordinary circumstances? Because, you know, for him to chuck to a 180 after having one position his entire career and cause the suffering of millions of Americans through this government shutdown, well, according to top Democrats, it was all about, quote, political leverage. They said it out loud. Take a look.
And the White House, frankly, this is our only moment of leverage. And although a very unpleasant tool to use, it's gotten us focused on
an unpleasant tool for who? Not y'all. Y'all still get paid. You know, y'all donors still pay you. Lobbyists still paying y'all. Y'all good. It's the American people who suffered. So I'm just like, you guys literally use the American people as leverage, and you trying to gaslight the American people as if you're not using them as leverage is diabolical. But hey, so there was a lot of people who fell for it. So I mean, it worked in a way. It definitely worked. I mean, you literally got. I mean. Bro, it's almost as crazy because it's like the Dems literally had the American people at gunpoint, holding them hostage, looking at the Republicans going like, give us the goddamn healthcare subsidies. The Republicans are damn near telling them like, come on, man, just give back the government, just give back the Americans, let them get their benefits so we could just talk about this. They're like, no. It's either we're going to sink the Americans or you guys give us healthcare subsidies. And then it's crazy as the Americans sit there and blame the Republicans who's trying to get them out of this hostage situation, blaming them for the reason that they're being kidnapped right now, even though they're being held at gunpoint by the Democrats. It's like the wildest thing I've just been experiencing over this past 40 days.
Lessons do you think the Democrats should learn from this shutdown saga?
Or observing, honestly.
Well, the country loses a lot of money when they do this. And
and shout out to my man, Maine. He says, we forget we didn't want socialized healthcare. I mean, ain't that the truth? And shout out to Seth. Happy Veterans Day. Yeah, happy Veterans Day to all those out there, man. We appreciate you guys and appreciate y'all service, man. Respect. So shout out to the veterans. I know we got one of our guys like Gerard. I hope he's doing all right. And shout out Jet. He says no effing. He says no fucking way. Then folds like a lawn chair. Literally folds like a lawn chair. Here's the worst part about it. Like they did all this arguing like, oh, we don't want the 1 year subsidies. No, we want them permanent. All right. So the Republicans say, hell no. Then they walk it back after dragging the American people out for 40 days. So, all right, we'll go ahead and take the 1 year extension. And then they don't even get the 1 year extension. All right, well, can you at least promise us that you'll talk about the 1 year extension, please? Like, oh, man, it's truly pathetic. Well, like, this is definitely a bad look.
they're not getting much, but nobody gets a lot. But it's terrible. What they really wanted was $1.5 trillion for people that came in illegally, people that came in through and out of prisons. You know, we had like Venezuela, they dumped their prisons.
They said that was all exaggerated by you.
Yeah, I know it's exaggerated. They wanted $1.5 trillion for health care from people that were, in some cases, 11,888 exactly murderers, many of whom murdered more than one person. So they came into our country, they poured into our country, and they want to take care.
And it's crazy because there's still a debate going like, whoa, what do you mean? Like there's like illegals is not getting healthcare benefits. They're not getting healthcare benefits, guys. And you know what? Shout out to CNN because somebody finally came with the receipts on that. I mean, let me see if I can go here and find the video of my bookmarks. But yeah, trust me, it's already been exposed that it is, yes, illegals was getting healthcare on the backs of the American people. It either be by state or federal money.
Illegally, people that came in through and out of prisons. You know, we had like Venezuela, they dumped their prisons.
They said that was all exaggerated by you.
Yeah, I know it's exaggerated. They wanted $1.5 trillion for health care from people that were, in some cases, 11,888 exactly murderers, many of whom murdered more than one person. So they came into our country, they poured into our country, and they want to take care of. We're trying to get them out because we don't want 11,000 murderers in our country. You don't want it. Nobody wants it.
All right, guys, check this out because I bet the Dems haven't seen this clip yet. All right, guys, check this out. This gets a little bit insane.
Illegal immigrants are not the reason why our healthcare system is broken.
Yeah, it's not deflection at all. In fact, I brought receipts. So here's the CMS, the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services, right here with their press release earlier this year saying they were having to increase their oversight on states like California who were abusing Medicaid and classifying it as an EUSA, an emergency system, when it wasn't. You've got the average state spends 5% of its Medicaid roughly on emergency services. California, 35 to 40%. Why would that be? Because California passed a state law that says we will fund Medicaid for illegals, and then, oh, by the way, we'll raise our provider taxes, and then, oh, by the way, we'll use that as a match to draw down federal funds. And they're using this whole cavitation process.
An accounting trick to put it on the taxpayer.
Money is fungible, and California's loophole is abusing it.
Listen, and we...
All right, back from
The
CNN. Ooh, that was a lively one. And they hate it when you bring receipts. But let's talk about that Medicaid thing for a minute, because what you have right now is a thing called the California loophole. Liberals hate it when you bring receipts, but the California loophole is real. And the reason why the left wants to get this whole spending package revised right now is because they want to be able to fund Medicaid for illegals like California is doing. The Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services earlier this year said they were having to increase their oversight. Why? Because California, New York, other states like that were abusing the Medicaid process by turning their emergency rooms into free clinics and then classifying everything as an emergency service.
And I already told you about these free clinics. There are clinics that are set up and funded by, well, Medicaid funding that offers free healthcare services regardless of your residential status, aka you can be an undocumented immigrant, illegal immigrant, walking into one of these clinics and get health care services funded by the American people.
And submitting it for federal matching dollars. Not supposed to work that way. Life-giving, life-saving treatment, yes, that's the Hippocratic Oath. Treating somebody for the common cold and giving them basic medical care and calling it emergencies because they walked into an emergency room and then billing the U.S. taxpayer dollars, that's called fraud. It needs to stop, and that's exactly what Republicans are trying to do. It's pretty simple. Yes, illegal immigrants are being given Medicaid dollars, and it's blue states like California that are making it happen.
What did we tell you? What did we tell you? I mean, but no, Seth, you're wrong. There's no way this could happen. We've been telling you this since the election, but hey, shout out to this man for saying it on national television and bringing the receipts. Oh, and shout out to, she says, it's funny how they caved when John Kay was about to propose a bill that would stop payments to Congress and Senate in the shutdown. I mean, man, that should have been done. I mean, hey, they got to suffer with us. I mean, I doubt they would have been so quick to shut the government down if they stopped getting paid. I'm almost sure, like 90%. But all right, though, let's get back over to Trump.
And we have drug dealers and $1.5 trillion for health care from people that were, in some cases, 11,888 exactly murderers, many of whom murdered more than one person. So they came into our country, they poured into our country, and they want to take care, and we're trying to get them out because we don't want 11,000 murderers in our country. You don't want it. Nobody wants it. And we have drug dealers and we have everything else that they want to make sure they get good health care. That's not what our country is about. And it would have hurt other people's health care.
On Obamacare, you raised several times during this shutdown debate that it's clear that this was never going to work without these massive subsidies. Now they wanted to continue the COVID subsidies. So given the fact that Obamacare really can't survive as they thought without these subsidies, what next?
Well, I watched Obama from when this thing came about. As you know, I opposed it very strongly. Unfortunately, we had a couple of negative votes, which should never have happened. But I said it's going to be a disaster, and I was exactly right. The premiums have gone up like rocket ships, and I'm not just talking about recently. I'm talking about for years they've been going up. And he said premiums will go down. Everything will be wonderful. It's horrible health insurance at a very high price. And what I want, and probably what you're alluding to, is the fact that I want, instead of going to the insurance companies, I want the money to go into an account for people where the people buy their own health insurance. It's so good. The insurance will be better. It'll cost less. Everybody's going to be happy. They're going to feel like entrepreneurs. They're actually able to go out and negotiate their own health insurance. And they can use it only for that reason. That's the beauty.
Yeah, because the problem with the Obama healthcare subsidies is that incentivizes corporations to overprice, like the pharmaceutical and healthcare or insurance corporations. Yes, it incentivizes them to overprice, raise their premiums, because subsidies are going straight to them. Now, what Trump is proposing, also what the Republicans are proposing, what they've been proposing since 2019, is that it goes to the American people and therefore creates a more competitive market for insurers, and that thus will bring down the pricing. So, yeah, the Obamacare completely failed on the terms of affordability. Giving health care, I mean, sure, if you could afford it, he'll give you that health care, but in terms of being affordable for the American people, yeah, failed completely.
Only for that purpose. And if we did that, that would be so exciting. Call it Trump care, call it whatever you want to call it, but anything but Obamacare. Obamacare is a disaster, just like he was as a president.
How do Republicans avoid this shutdown saga from reoccurring on January 30th when this deal ends?
Well, we're trying to put in a bill, as you know, the bill or a bill, that you can never do that again. You can't just shut down the government because you're trying to renegotiate a deal that you didn't. Don't forget, when we passed the great big beautiful bill, which gives you tremendous middle income tax benefits and it gives so much to everybody. Think of it, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and no tax, very importantly, on overtime. If you work overtime, you don't have to pay tax. So many other things. It gives you a deduction if you buy a car, you borrow money, you put a loan on a car, you're allowed to deduct the interest. That's never happened in our country before. You know, that's always been for the richer people. They're allowed to take deductions. Now you can deduct interest on a car. So we have tremendous goodies in there. You know, they like to try and disparage it. Oh, it's the greatest bill ever passed in the history of our country. That's why we did it all in one. It's 4 years worth of goodies, and it's largely for jobs and for the middle class and for security.
But the Democrats clearly wanted to renegotiate this and hold the country hostage, did it not?
They didn't get what they wanted in the great big beautiful bill.
Yep.
And so what they tried to do is
really they were trying to reverse the spending cuts in the big beautiful bill in Medicaid. Remember, there was about $930 billion that's supposed to be cut out of Medicaid over the next 10 years. The liberals or the Democrats, they wanted to put that back in. They wanted to reverse those spending cuts, almost as if Trump never even made the cuts at all, almost as if the big beautiful bill just didn't exist. So, yeah, they were trying to stop Trump's main agenda of cutting spending in that key area because, yes, it did need to be cut. And be honest with you, a lot of the cuts were necessary because there's a lot of fraud in Medicaid.
Renegotiate it at a time where they hold the country hostage.
One of the big problems for the country I encountered on Saturday coming back from Florida to D.C. with the airports. So hours delayed, thousands of flight cancellations that are continuing this week. Yeah. You put out a Truth Social post earlier today where you blasted the air traffic controllers who had not shown up for work and offered potentially a bonus of $10,000 for those who have worked despite the shutdown.
Okay.
Are you worried that given the fact that we have a deficit of air traffic controllers still, I know we're trying to change that, that might be a difficult
No, we don't
position.
have much of a deficit, and we have a lot of people want the job. What I was not happy when I saw all these people, oh, we have to, look, life is not so easy for anybody. Our country's never done better. We should not have had people leaving their jobs. And what I basically did is say the ones that stayed, of which there were a lot of them, I'm sending them a $10,000 bonus.
Where's that money coming from?
I don't know. I'll get it from someplace. I always get the money from someplace regardless. It doesn't matter. I do a lot of bonuses for people because it's really something that it's like the American way when you think about it. So here's somebody that goes.
He's basically a surprise bonus for those who just said, oh, well, I'm not getting paid, so I'm not coming into work. Those who came into work in their day job, I mean, salute to y'all, man. Trump's about to send y'all a little bit of extra cash, an extra 10,000. So, hey, for those the ones who stuck it out during the shutdown, I mean, hey, you deserve it. Ain't no hate here.
And shows up every single day. Some of them showed up early because they knew there was going to be a problem. Those people should be rewarded. Others, we can't make it. We can't. A lot of the people that showed up also had a second job. They took a second job temporarily, but they all know the money's coming, and the money was coming. So I want to reward the people that showed up without a lot of nonsense, without a lot of talk. They did their job, and in many cases, they worked longer hours to get us through this period.
When can we expect the flights to resume more or less on better schedules?
Well, I've heard a lot of people say, in fact, on your show 2 nights ago, somebody said, you know, I just took a plane. I got better service than I got in the past. Now, maybe because a little bit fewer people are
There are a
traveling.
lot of delays now, sir.
But a lot of people, but a lot of people are getting through. I think the people are going to start showing up. I was very strong on that truth. I said, now you get to work.
Did you remember the air traffic control firing of Reagan in 1983,
Yeah,
I believe it was?
One of the highlights of his life. You want to know the truth? He fired them because they didn't show up to work, and he never let them come back.
The economy was listed as a top concern. I know you know this for voters in New Jersey, New York, Virginia. I know you've been all over the affordability issue today and for the last several months. Eggs, gas, dinner costs for Thanksgiving way down. But other things, as you noted, have gone up. Beef, coffee,
they're gonna come
auto
down very
repairs.
shortly.
Is this a voter perception issue of the economy, or is there more that needs to be done by Republicans on Capitol Hill or done in terms of policy?
More than anything else, it's a con job by the Democrats. They're saying, they just have to say, you know, they put out something, say today, costs are up. They feed it to the anchors of ABC.
Now, I'm gonna be real with you. It's like he's wrong and he's right. There is still an affordability issue, but it is also a con job by the Democrats. Because you remember what they were trying to say when it came to the eggs, and he was just one day in, and they were going like, "What about the eggs? What about the eggs?" Then they wanted to admit about bird flu. All right. So yes, Trump is knocking these down one by one as the Democrats complain about it, and then they'll just move on to the next thing as Trump knocks it down. But here's the thing: if Trump don't start, honestly, showboating these affordability showboating him tackling affordability, showboating him trying to, bring in rare earth minerals, breaking ground on data centers. If he don't start showboating that, start showboating how there's jobs being brought in and investment, then let's be real, Dems are going to paint the picture that, yes, there's a lack of jobs, lack of affordability, when, let's be honest, it's being worked on. It's a lot better. Like I said, we lost $3,000 of spending power under Biden. We've only gained about $1,200 of it under Trump. So we're still negative 1,800. So this is why the inflation is still driving up prices, because we're still in the negative.
CBS,
in terms of buying
NBC, power. And a lot of other, and CNN, and et cetera. And it's like a standard. I'll never forget they had used a word like manufactured. Do you remember the word manufactured? It's a manufactured economy. Nobody uses that word. Every anchor broke through manufactured. They do exactly what they say. It's such a rigged system. So are you ready? Costs are way down. Gasoline is going to be hitting $2 pretty soon, or around $2. Gasoline is at $2.70 now. And it was at $4.50 under Biden, under Sleepy Joe. When gasoline comes down, when energy comes down, and everybody agrees energy's down, we're drilled, drill, baby, drill. We're going like wild. We produce more gasoline, oil and gas in the last month than we ever have before, by far. And we're going to also end up filling up the national strategic reserves, which were taken out by Biden in order to try and win an election. Didn't work out too well. They tapped in. That's supposed to be for war, for national emergency, not to get.
So are you saying that voters are misperceiving how they feel, or?
So when I took over, you remember?
Because you said Biden did that too, because he was saying things are great, but things weren't great.
It's synonymous, Biden and Kamala, because you didn't know who the hell was campaigning. I mean, it got to a point. So I was up by 20 points on Biden or some crazy number. And they said, all right, let's get him out. We'll put a new one. This never happened to anybody. All of a sudden, I have somebody new. And they had the 6-week honeymoon, which was standard in the world of politics. You get a little honeymoon. And she had her little honeymoon, but then eventually people got to know her, too. And then they had the 60 Minutes catastrophe with.
Now, let's be honest here. The real marker on Trump's affordability will be graded during midterms. I would say Trump has a solid 6 months to do his best on affordability before midterms, or the Republicans might lose the midterms. And that's probably, unless the Democrats commit a complete political suicide, then trust me, the Republicans need to tackle affordability for the next 6 months to the midterm. That should be the the political strategy for the next 6 months is affordability. Because if they can sit there and run out those numbers and be like, look, we were here in November, look where we're at right before midterms. Look where energy was then, now look where we're at now. They can do something like that, then it's a shoe-in for midterms. If not, then honestly, the Dems are just going to drill that point home. And they'll be, it'd be in their best interest to do so.
They, changed her answer.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be mad
Housing
at him.
costs are still out of reach. And another thing that your administration is trying to tackle, many Americans, the average age of first-time home buyers are now up to age 40, which is sad. The country you and I grew up in.
I inherited that. Look, you have to understand.
Right, but let me get to the question, though, because your housing director has proposed something that has enraged your MAGA friends, which is this 50-year mortgage idea. So a significant MAGA backlash, calling it a giveaway to the banks and simply prolonging the time it would take for Americans to own a home outright. Is that really a good idea?
It's not even a big deal. I mean, you go from 40 to 50.
But it's like I don't know, it is like a kind of a quick fix in a way, because the 40-year mortgage expands and you're paying less. But let's be real though, you're mostly paying on interest on principal, and unless that is an investment property to where you can like catch up on those payments and reduce that 50-year, like let's say you got 50-year payments but you're paying it like you're on a 30-year, then that could work out for you. It could, especially if you're renting it out and all that good stuff. But if this is your home house and maybe you're adding upgrades to it and the appreciation might be able to help you out. So there's a lot of ways to combat that 50-year mortgage on you just paying on principal and interest. There's ways to make it work for you. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, those who aren't as financially savvy